Patisa Sapupada, Dependent Origination, number 18. Today we are going to talk the simplified summary of dependent origination. It summarizes all these 17 talks we have discussed before. Patisa Sapupada, or dependent origination, is about the process of the endless cycle of birth and death, which is known in Pali as samsara. There are 12 factors and 11 links in this cycle. The first one is because of ignorance as condition, mental formation arises. That's the first link. Covers 2 factors. This link, or these 2 factors, represents the past life, the life before our existence, past life. Ignorance, or avijja, what it means is we are ignorant about the Four Noble Truths. We are ignorant about the true nature of mind and matter. Or we can say believing in the wrong view of a self or a soul, which is indestructible and exists for eternity, forever. Grasping to that wrong idea of a self or a soul. I would just put it bluntly like that. Of course, that belief stems from ignorance. So in a way you can call it the view of the ignorant. Because of the ignorance, we began to do all sort of things. Or we can say, rooted in ignorance, we perform many activities. That engaging in many activities is called karma formation, or volitional activities. Rooted in ignorance, we perform many volitional activities. That is sankhara, karma formation. So those 2 were operating in the past life, ignorance and volitional activities. And if you look at it, this is the action, doing things. In other words, causing something. And whenever we cause something, we know there will be a result or an effect. Causing something, doing something, but always rooted in ignorance. So, whenever we talk about causing something or actions or activities, that is we call it the active zone. Active zone means you are forming, accumulating karma, active soul. So whenever you are doing something active or activities causing something, that means you are creating something. That means you are doing these based on ignorance, rooted in ignorance. And that we call it samudaya sissa. In other words, the cause of suffering. Something is, from the Buddhist point of view, always associated with suffering, dukkha. So this section in the past life represents the second noble truth, samudaya sissa, the truth of the cause of suffering, because it is in the active zones, doing all sort of actions, activities rooted in ignorance, forming karma. So that is the first link and the two factors of the 12. And then the next one is, because of karma formation, relinking consciousness arises. So now we jumped to the present life. Okay? There's a link. This is how it linked from the past life to the present life. You did all set of volitional activities that creates karma. That karmas become the driving engine, and then linked the past life to the present life. And in the present life, a consciousness arises because of the karma that you have done in the past life. That consciousness is the first one of this, our present life. It's called relinking consciousness. Relinking consciousness, vijnana. And then, because of the relinking consciousness, mind and matter arises. And in here, we need to know this consciousness by itself alone cannot arise. Okay? Whatever consciousness, relinking or otherwise, cannot arise by itself. Whenever a consciousness arises, it requires a few conditions. That condition is, one is there must be a materiality for that consciousness to arise. And number two, there also are some mental associates, cetasika, to arise. Mental associates, consciousness, and materiality are requirements. They arise all together. So, this consciousness plus mental associate is called mind. And that materiality is rupa, matter, or the body. The body and the mind arises. So even though they all arises together, consciousness, mental associates, and the body or materiality, matter. The leader, the key point, what is necessary is the relinking consciousness. That is the leader, and the others are the coexister. So that's why in the discourse, because of the relinking consciousness, mind and matter arises. That's how it is put. And then the next one is because of the mind and matter, salayatana, six sense basis arises. So you have to have this physical body. Based on this whole physical body, communication points grows or appear. What are these communication points? Your eyes to see the world, ear to hear all sounds of the universe, noses to smell, and tongue, taste buds to taste, and the body to have a touch sensation of anything that comes in contact. Those are the 5 physical bases. And one base, we already have it, the mind base. 6 sense base arises. And again, these 6 sense base does not arise after the mind and matter or after the relinking consciousness. They all arises together. In a genetic level, they all arises together. Of course, the growth of a fetus from 1 day old to 9 months old is different from our physiologic growth point of view. But genetically, they all arises together at the point of conception. That's why it said, mind and matter is the cause, and 6 sense base is the effect. And then 6 sense base is the cause, and mental contact is the effect. What it means is, when you have this 6 sense, eye door, ear door, nose door, they all operate one at a time. But in the strictest sense, they are all operating at the same time, so to speak. But awareness of this, each operation, become prominent and dominant at one moment, and which can be acutely aware by the mind. That's why it said it operates one at a time. But physiologically, they are operating, but only the most obvious one pops up, and that comes into the awareness of the mind, to the attention of the mind. Mental contact. What that is, let's use the seeing process. There's a form to be seen outside. A rose, a tree, a lawn, grass lawn. When that comes in a straight line with the eye, that's the door. When that rose, the image of the rose strikes the eye, at that moment there's the awareness. of that particular rose. The rose, through the eye door, come into the awareness of the mind. And at that moment, three things happening. External form, the eye is the internal form, and the awareness is the consciousness. When these three come together, we call it mental contact. So for mental contact to arise, there must be 6 sense spaces. But again, these are constantly happening all the time, from one door or the another door through the 6th door. And when the mental contacts happen, mental contacts become the cause. And feeling, vedana, become the effect. Now, we talk about 5 of them already. Consciousness, mind and matter, 6 sense spaces, mental contact, phassa, and vedana. Those 5 are the result of the activities one has done, one had done in the past life. These past life activities, or the karma of the past life, produced or give rise to these 5. And these 5 are the result of the past karma. So these are called result. Some people say resultant. In Pali it's called vipaka. They arise. Each of them does their own function. They have an assigned function. They arise and they are doing their function. But this is simply the result. This is simply the result. By itself, it cannot do anything. It is just like auto program going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going on. So they are automatically repeating that process moment to moment to moment. They are the result of the past karma, past life karma. They cannot do anything other than their own function. In other words, they cannot produce any new karma. That's why they are called passive states, inert states, or passive zone. Because they cannot produce new karma. But they are simply doing all the time their own function. Whenever external object strikes the internal object, awareness arises, mental connects arise, and feeling arise. They can't do anything. They are the product of the past karma. They are helpless. But these are the fertile grounds for kilesa, mental defilements, to arise. Mental defilement cannot arise without these. So these inactive materials only produce kilesa, mental defilements. they produce suffering. They have the nature, inherent nature, to produce suffering. They are the fertile ground to produce suffering. That's why these five are called dukkha sissa, the noble truth of suffering, the first noble truth of the Four Noble Truths Buddha taught us. So this one, present life, these five together represent or is the first noble truth. And they are passive in nature. They cannot produce new karma. And once the rebirth takes place, these five go automatically, instantly, repeatedly, endlessly. No powerful being in the universe can stop that process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, repeatedly going on and on. Once the relinking consciousness, the first consciousness arises, this will keep on going till the end of this life. So, this phase, this segment belongs to the present life, passive zone. Results, vipaka. And then we stop at the vedana, feeling. From that feeling, as soon as there's a feeling arises in you, what do you experience? Feeling arising means you are experiencing something pleasant or something unpleasant. That's what you're feeling. Simply a feeling, a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling. But the nature of our existence is, as soon as we feel a pleasant feeling, we like it, we love it. As soon as we feel unpleasant feeling, we hate it, we dislike it, we don't want it. That's a natural, normal procedure of life. If you keep it on the auto program, or in other words, if you keep it like the way everybody thinks, live and do all the time, or if you keep it unmindfully, that is the path it will take. Mindful path is not in the cycle of birth and death, so we'll leave it aside. So automatically, pleasant feeling arises, we like it, we love it. Unpleasant feeling arises, we don't like it, we hate it. And that liking and disliking is called craving. So, feeling is the condition, craving is the effect or result. Craving, tanha. So automatically from feeling to craving, but craving is an action because you have a choice. This pleasant thing, you can like it or you don't have to like it. Just look for one pleasant thing. Okay, a little cat, cute, nice looking, Some people look at it and they like it. Some people look at it, they don't like it for whatever reason. Some people look at it and they neither like it or not like it. See, there is a three options to go. So each one of us is choosing one or the other. Like, don't care, or neutral. And that nature of liking, not liking, is called craving. Craving arises. Craving is a little feeling of liking it. Ah, cute. Oh, beautiful. You feel it, you acknowledge it, and you move on to the next one, to the next one. That's craving. Weak attachment. And then once craving arises, craving becomes the cause, and grasping or clinging arises. In some object, some situation, some condition, you like it more and more and more. Some people go to the point of obsession, and some people hate it more and more and more. Don't like it, yucky, oh, I hate it, I want to kill it. That is upadana, grasping, clinging. It arises to there. And once it goes to that upadana level, there you go nuts. You have to act physically, verbally. Mentally is already there. That's a mental strong grasping in your mind. You just are obsessed with it, or you just want to destroy it in the mind. And that will express in terms of speech, verbal, deed, actually doing it, physically doing it. That intense mental thought, speech and deed. When you do that, there are only two parts. One is something good, constructive and beneficial. Another one is bad, evil and destructive, wholesome and unwholesome. You begin to perform wholesome actions, unwholesome actions of physical, verbal and mental nature. Punyapi and apunyapi, wholesome and unwholesome. So once you do these things, what are you doing? What are you accumulating? You are accumulating karma. You are creating karma. So that's why upadana pichya bhavo. Because of the grasping and clinging, life action arises. Those activities are life action. Bhava or karma bhava. You have heard these terms before. And your whole life, you are doing these things, these activities all the time. But it is not that the first half of your life is the result and the second half of your life is the activities. These results and activities, passive zone and active zone, are constantly going all the time. Of course, we call this craving, grasping, and life action, an active zone of this present life. Active zone of this present life. And whenever it is active, you are creating, causing something. So what is it? It is samudaya sissa, the noble truth of the cause of suffering. Active soul. Present life active soul. But as I said before, it is not like compartmentalized. Like from age 1 to 10 is active zone, from 11 to 20 is passive zone. Not like that. Every moment, whenever a thought arises, whenever thought process is going on, the first is that passive zone result arises. Mental contact and feeling. When we say mental contact, you know what covers. So I'll just put two. Mental contact, something strike, the sound strike your ear, awareness is there, and then beautiful feeling arises. That's the first part of the thought process. And as soon as there's a beautiful sound arises, you like it, and you love it so much on that song, you run to your stereo and crank up your volume. That is the life action. You're doing it. And that is one spectrum. In a way, you can call it, that is the birth and the death of that thought process. Result arises, doesn't stop at feeling, goes on to craving, grasping, and life action. That's just one thought process. That is one birth and death. And that is how this noble truth of suffering and the cause of sufferings are happening again and again and again and again every moment of your life. And that's how it operates. Not like first half is the result and second half is the action. It goes on and on and on. First from the Bhavanga, life continuum, or life constituent, or you can call it life continuum consciousness. Bhavanga. Start with Bhavanga and ends with actions. And then register it and put it in a file and fold it. That's one file. One thought process, one file. One thought process, one file. And the files become thicker and thicker and thicker. That is our life. From the relinking consciousness, Patichandi Citta. It is happening till to the last moment of this life. Death. Chuti Citta. Death consciousness. That's the last one of this, our current life, our present life. It goes on. Of course, you have to have these results, the fertile ground, or the 5 results, which are the product of the past life karma. You will have to have that. And that will give rise to craving, grasping, and action, kilesa. When you do that, it becomes kilesa. Lobha, that's craving, grasping. Dosa, that's craving, grasping. Moha, your actions are rooted in ignorance. Basically, Those actions are kilesa. That's why the results are the fertile ground for kilesa to arise. You keep doing this throughout your life till the last moment, Chuti Jeta, that consciousness. At that point, in this particular life, your karmic energy has exhausted to maintain this physical base. The physical base is gone. And also the mental base, the mind, consciousness and mental associate, that's also exhausted. Exhausted from the energy giving from the past life karma that has exhausted. But at the same time, you are creating, accumulating a new karma in this life all the time, every moment. Those karma, accumulated karma in this present life will become, has become, it becomes the energy and the power to produce a new consciousness in the next life. A new consciousness in the next life. That's why in the dependent origination, Bhava Pichaya Jati, a link comes in. Before I proceed into the Bhava Pichaya Jati, life action is the cause and rebirth is the effect. Let me summarize this present life. In this present life, Buddha taught us in detail the detailed workings, the detailed process of this mind and matter. How the results arises, based on the results we do things. And how kilesa is incorporated in it. And they all represent this life. Two segments, two phases. One is the resultant, inactive, present life, result phase. The other one is active, present life, causes base, result and cause, effect and cause. And this cause is generating a new karma. This new karma will produce next life. And the next life will run as much or as little as the energy accumulation of the karma of this present life. And these 8, relinking consciousness, mind and matter, 6 sense basis, mental contact, feeling, craving, grasping, and life action. Those 8 factors belongs to the present life. And then, of course, the karmic energy from the past life runs out, and it will come to an end of this life. The last one is Chuti Jeta, that consciousness. And then when we die, because of the karmic energy we had done in this life, will produce another rebirth in the next life. That's what we call bhava pichya jati. Due to life action, rebirth arises. So, in this rebirth section, we'll recite it. Jati pichya jara marana soka parideva dukkha domanasa upayasa sambhavanti. The Buddha presented in the future life the result section in a different way. In the present life, the result section Buddha presented with the 5 mental factors: relinquishing consciousness, mind and matter, 6 sense bases, mental contact, and feeling. But in the future life, the same result section Buddha presented in a different way for a different reason. The way it presents is jati, rebirth. Rebirth is the result of the present life karma, bhava. And then rebirth becomes the condition or the cause. Rebirth is the cause. Jara marana, aging and death, is the effect. If you have rebirth, automatically aging will follow, or some translate it as decay. Aging will follow and end it with death. Rebirth, aging and death. That's the way Buddha presented for a future life. The purpose is these are the result, or actually the manifestation. Buddha put it from the point of view of manifestation, something that we can actually see and experience. You can't really see the mental contact, you can't really see the feeling, but you can see and feel the aging process. You can see the corpse, death, marana. And also there's another reason. When you put it in such a way, rebirth, aging and death, that covers the whole 31 planes of existence and Buddhist cosmology. The one we see that 5, relinquishing consciousness, mind and matter, 6 sense bases, mental contact and feeling. Those 5 do not cover the whole 31 plane. It is exactly true for the 6 sense realms. But in the upper Brahma realm, there's a variation of these numbers. So that is another reason. Rebirth is the cause. Aging and death is the effect. And along with it, there may be sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, grief, and excessive mental pain, despair. There may be. Because of that, we do not take it as a part of the 12 factors. Because for some beings, specifically 20 planes of Brahma, do not experience or have these five types of suffering: sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. But in the Deva realm, they don't. Till when you come to the point near death, they experience that. Human realm, we experience all of these. But some people more than the other based on the karmic energy they have done before. Some people more, some people less, variation. And in the four woeful planes, these are constantly arising, especially in hell realms and hungry ghost realm and jealous realm. Animals, little bit of pleasure, maybe when you are coupling or when you are eating. So that is the two factors: jati, rebirth, jara marana, aging and death, belongs to the future life. And the other five, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair, are called coincidental consequences. One may or one may not have it. And this section, jara marana, or rebirth, aging and death, are result of the present life karma, as they are the result, and as they are obviously, Buddha put it in a way we could see and understand and feel. These are suffering. That's why it is dukkha shisa, the first noble truth, the noble truth of suffering. And rebirth, aging, and death itself is a result. They cannot produce any new karma. So that concluded the 11 links and 12 factors of dependent origination. And of course, eventually future life become the present, and the next future life become the present, the next future life become the present, and endlessly it goes on and on. That is dependent origination, the process of the cycle of birth and death, endless cycle of birth and death, samsara. May all of you be able to understand this process of dependent origination, which indicate that what we call a being is not created by a supreme power. It is simply a natural phenomenon that is going on. And they are all different parts and parcel put together. There's no individual, no person, no being. It is the physical and mental mechanics or the process that is being operating in this universe for endless eons in the past and the endless eon in the future. May this give you a sense of urgency in terms of the noble truth of suffering and the noble truth of the cause of suffering, and look for your liberation as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much. This concludes a whole series of dependent origination.